Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the greatest Rotary Club in the known universe. I would like to welcome Shan White up to the podium to do our invocation, pledge, and four-way test. Thank you, Shan.
A little levity first, if you will. I don't know who to describe this to. Maybe Linda Rupp now, since she's sitting next to me. She can get me on my way back. Went to the doctor for a physical. When he was finished, I said, "Doc, how do I stand?" He said, "Beats me." There was a little levity. Let us be in an attitude of prayer. Everyone needs forgiveness, and I'm chief among them. God's forgiveness is greater than our mistakes and our wrongs of others and our sins, which we don't hear much about anymore. We shouldn't presume that we have God's forgiveness. We need to ask for it. Amen.
Thank you, Shan. And you know, it was a bit of a groan in the room at that bit of levity, but all in all, still better than former President Bill Burton. Nicely done. That's good. Is Bill here or is he? All right. Okay. When he's able, I'd love to invite Andrew up to welcome our guests today.
Hey, good afternoon. I have two guests with us today. The first guest, Jim Rickoff has a guest, Julie Cotton. And our second guest is club guest, Deborah Treesh.
And Deb is here as one of our not-for-profit presenters, as well as Chris and Heidi from La Casa. So we'll have them come up and tell us a little more in a bit. I'd also like to make sure, it's always good to point out who we got online. Andy McCaskey, Mandy Lazenby, Carlos, Don, Deb, Jason, Jenny Shoemaker, welcome. I know Jenny works with our speaker today. Jess Burbrink, Jan Farron, John Hill, John Hunsberger. Hey, Mike Cristofino, how are you? Paul Gardner, Tina Weldy, Tom Neat. It seems to be that our online presence is growing a little bit today, as it may continue to in the future. We'll see how things go. All right. If you have an announcement, please make your way to the front. And I just wanted to mention, Tom MacArthur, are you here today? Tom, any more outstanding t-shirts or? Hey, all t-shirts. Good job, everybody, for getting your t-shirts. A little preview of service projects. So speaking for the morning division and Bob Gerard, I wanted to let you know, and I'll keep reminding of these. We'll send out some emails. Bob's good about sending out emails as well. That on September 2nd, there'll be a service project for the Humane Society. Rob Leroy, first one of our, Rob, are you here today? I don't see Rob here. He's with the director at the Humane Society. He will be attending, let's see, what do we got? Oh, he's going to actually be attending their meeting to share dog stories while we put together treats for cats. So treats inside a toy. And for dogs, they're going to put a couple milk bones together with peanut butter. And then they give them to them frozen when they're in there. So if you want to join on September 2nd, our morning division, which meets, it's 7 a.m., folks. Who's not up at 7 a.m.? Okay, who's not awake still at 7 a.m. if you are vertical? Bring your coffee, go to the Elkhart Health and Aquatics and put together some treats for the pets on September 2nd. And also, there'll be some Boot Lake service dates that are upcoming. So the morning division does a lot to help out with Boot Lake Nature Preserve, and they have service dates coming up on September 25th, October 9th, November 13th, and December 11th. So lots of time between now and then. You'll hear more announcements. But if you want to get outside, again, a great place as an alternative, safe environment, please look for those announcements. And you're going to see an email from me, if not today, tomorrow. I'm going to send out an email through Club Runner, and I need your help. So next Monday, it is the 30th. It is our 5th Monday of the month. So we're going to do something a little different. So instead of a presenter, we are going to be, hey, Eric Schultz, you haven't been at a meeting for a while. Sorry, everyone. Squirrel.
Hold on.
We are going to have us. We're going to be the program. And so here's what I'm looking for. And this is not a reply all sort of deal. So just reply to me. And I'm going to ask you for something about you. One or two things that you're willing to share with the attitude of what happens at Rotary stays at Rotary, about your life, earlier in your life or last week, that's something that we can have someone up here talking about some of these traits, and we're going to have little games, and there will be prizes, I assure you, guessing who was someone who did that certain thing that we just mentioned. So, I mean, everyone knows that Ann McQuistion is a champion cattle caller. So those are the little types of things. I mean, if you didn't know that Ann McQuistion was the champion cattle caller, now you do. And you'll get to know a little bit more about everyone in the club. I hope it to be fun. It'll be what we put into it. So send me good, juicy stuff. This is good stuff. I was half tempted to make this an in-person only meeting because of the sensitivity of that information. However, I think given the current, we'll have to still make this a hybrid meeting, but we'll record it and we'll have a bouncer, Andy McCaskey. He'll kick out anybody who's joining in that doesn't belong. And then I will, I don't know if we'll post this or not, but I may have to actually eat the recording. So we'll make sure that nothing goes out. There's going to be some good stuff. Good stuff. All right. After that program, Tony, come on up.
I want to remind everyone the placemats that we have at our table supports the Interact Club and their annual trip to Nassau, Costa Rica, which they did not go on this year. So I did not bill anybody for their placemat ads. So you've got double year for 1 year. But I am going to start sometime in September redoing the placemat because we're running out. And so I need to print up new ones. And so I'm looking for advertisers, and I will be contacting each and every one of you. The ad charge is $295, and all the money from the placemat support the Interact Club. This year, so those of you that were working at the Taste this weekend, we had 22 Interact kids, I believe, helping out throughout the day, and they were working hard. So they're very engaged with the Interact, and they're hoping that they're going to have their trip this year going to Costa Rica. The only problem we're running into right now is if you go out of the country and you come back in, you have to have a test, a COVID test done 2 days prior to your reentry into the US. Of course, it has to be a positive test. And if we, sorry, negative test, yeah. There you go. And obviously, when they're traveling in a group, if one can't make it back in, that could be a real problem. So anyway, so that's the plan. I'm going to start advertising, invoicing, contacting people about renewing their ads, putting in new ads. Again, all the money supports Interact, and we're looking forward to kids going this year. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. A week from today, we will have for you all of the details and sign up for the Guatemala continuation of dresses and support of their school. And we're going to do things a little bit different this year. We will be able to sew in person, but there will be kits available. So if you know someone outside of Rotary that might be willing to sew a dress, you'll be able to sign up, take them a kit, and have them send us dress back. They will not have to purchase any materials. Thank you.
Thank you, Susan. I saved this if you were wondering about the popcorn in the front. So the Dutch Colonel out at Taste yesterday said they had one of their most successful sales days at any event they'd ever had. And so they left for us on their way out 3 of those large bins full of the popcorn. And again, thanks to our Interact Club for helping us get rid of some of that popcorn. And the remainder of it is here today. So please, on your way out, grab a bag or 2 or 6. It's okay. I pounded 8 of those bags last night. I can tell you that popcorn's perfectly fine after being outside all day. It was nice. But thanks everyone so much for your help yesterday. I know so many of you were out there. I'm a little tired today, but I'm appreciative of everyone's help. And we will have a wrap-up meeting. We'd love to get feedback, things that you heard from guests, observations that you had. Look for an invitation for that, likely next Monday, maybe before our meeting, or in the afternoon on Zoom. We'll do it virtually. It'll be an easy one, but I would love to hear some of the feedback. We made a few changes. I'll share the final numbers, of course, next week for the event. It was a very nice day. It was hot. It was muggy. The darn weather apps most people had said that there was a 50% chance of rain between about 1 and 4 in the afternoon, which did not help our chances. I heard some comments on the ticket pricing. It is still during a pandemic. I know that several of our Rotarians came to me directly and said that they were apologetic. They would not be able to come because of that. And so we completely respect all of those things. I would love to get your feedback on that. So look for that invitation, and please take popcorn. Okay. I'd like to, as he is right in the middle of cutting right there, invite Chris Kingsley up from La Casa to tell you a little bit about their program.
Yeah. I'm a Goshen Rotarian, so traveling, get a little credit for being here today, which is always good. And I've invited Ashley, who is of course a Rotarian, here to say a couple of words as well about the impact. I wanted to thank you all for supporting us again. You've been doing this for a few years, and this year the Rotary support went toward our financial empowerment programs. And financial empowerment, so the type of financial empowerment we do is we do a lot of training. We do a lot of workshops. We do a lot of counseling. And we also administer matched savings funds. So where a person can come, they might say, hey, I want to be a homeowner. And we do training, we do counseling. They also save some of their own earned income. They generate a match on that savings that can go toward down payment. So all really important programs, trying to help our community build assets. A lot of you know that in our county and frankly nationwide, there are way too many people who don't have enough money on hand just to pay for small emergencies when they come up. And so a big part of our work is to support working families in Elkhart County in gaining assets, maintaining assets, and just building on their situations, their self-sufficiency. So your support matters, makes a big difference. It helps us. We've been doing virtual training since the pandemic started. And we've had a lot of participation, actually. In fact, you think about some of the barriers to participation. One of those is transportation. Others, childcare. People can have kids around, and they can make it to our trainings without having to travel. So we've had this year 113 people go through our classroom training. And that's divided out into a few different types of trainings. We have a Master Your Money class. We have a Master Home Ownership class. Master Your Credit. Credit's a big thing for a lot of people, trying to get that credit in place. And those are our highest attended courses that we offer. But we also had 15 people become first-time home buyers this year. So as you all know, housing is hot, even despite the pandemic. We're really excited to have 15 new families in Elkhart County who are now home buyers. They're building wealth through their homes, and they're preparing to transfer generational wealth as well through that stability that they're building. So I want you to know that your support makes a big difference. That financial stability is a huge piece of overall health and wellness for families in our county. And it changes lives. It changes lives, and we see it every day. So thank you so much to this club. Ashley, I invite you to just give a couple of anecdotal words about the impact it's making.
Hi, everyone. So as many of you know, I've been with La Casa for about 2 months now. So my experience is not vast, but I have already seen so many lives in the process of transformation. The most incredible I've seen so far was last week. Her name is Naomi. She's from Taiwan, and she spent 7 hours in classes with us in Master Your Money, which helps you to get a hold of the money that you have and learn how to budget it accordingly, and Master Home Ownership, which gets you on a pathway mentally and financially to own your own first home. I was so impressed by this woman, Naomi, on our Zoom classes that I was wondering about her history with La Casa. So I looked it up in our files and found out that she came to us first in 2019. She was in a shelter. She had been kicked out of her home by her husband. He kept all of the assets that they had, and she felt lost. She was lost, but she knew she was not broken. So she reached out for the help that she knew was available. She wanted to become independent and stop depending on others around her. So she started taking classes through both La Casa and the local shelter with her goal in mind of moving out of the shelter. 2 years later, her smiling face appeared on Zoom from her own apartment. She's working full-time, and she's ready to make her next big move of owning a home. So she started attending classes with La Casa again so that she can get her ducks in a row before she's in the middle of the process not knowing what to do. Hopefully next year, we'll be able to report to you that she's the 16th of the new homes that was purchased this year. So thank you. The Financial Empowerment Center is meeting people where they are, whether it's in the shelter or on the threshold to their first new home. and the attendance for families with barriers that Chris described, like transportation and childcare. Families from places like South Central, where those are huge barriers, their participation has gone up exponentially in our classes since they have gone virtual. So thank you to every single one of you for helping us to keep that going and make it possible for people to reach the education that makes their lives better. Thank you, Rotary.
Thank you, Ashley. Thank you, Chris. Great. All right, our next not-for-profit, I'd like to invite Deb Treese. She is the founder and executive director of Hoosiers Feeding the Hungry. Hoosiers Helping, Hoosiers Feeding. Hoosiers Feeding. All right, sorry about that. I reversed and fouled it up. Interestingly, Hoosiers Feeding the Hungry was founded in 2005. There was another super famous local not-for-profit founded in 2000. Thank you to Rotary for that as well. So Deb, tell us about how you're helping to feed so many people.
Hi, everybody. Hoosiers Feeding Hungry was started by accident. We have my husband and my boys, they all hunted. When the boys moved out, we didn't need as much food, so what we did is we donated our deer. We had a processor, a meat processor, and donated to Community Harvest Food Bank, which is in Allen County. And that's when we realized how much people really needed the meat. I've been blessed all my life. We've always had food for our children, for our family. But when Jane Avery told me, she said, meat is the hardest commodity and the most expensive thing for people to get. There's got to be a lot more families out there in this world that don't need their deer, or don't need their livestock, and they can share. So the first year we donated 250 pounds of meat. This year we've donated over 280,000 pounds of meat. So we've grown just a little bit. We started with just the we started with just the deer. And then one of our local farmers said, hey, would you want one of our cows? And I'm like, well, yeah, I guess I never thought someone would give a cow away because it's a lot of meat. He was telling me that with pigs and with cows, if you ever go to the grocery store and you look at the size of all the pork chops, they're all the same size. Your steaks are all the same size because they want the cows to go to the market the same size, so right around 1,200 pounds or 300 pounds for a pig. If they don't grow right, they get docked. So if you have a 750 pound cow, it's not worth it to take it to market. Like, no, don't bury it. Give it to us. We'll give you a tax write-off, and then we'll feed a lot of people with that. So that has really helped us tremendously. We've just, I thank these guys. Thank you guys very, very much for your donation. It makes a tremendous difference. And just the donation you gave us alone is going to provide over 4,000 meals to Elkhart families. So it really makes a huge impact. We don't have a lot of overhead. Our office space is donated. We try to get everything donated. Really, all we pay for is meat processing. That's the majority of everything we pay for. So thank you very, very much. Thank you very, very much. As always.
Thanks, Deb. Those numbers are really staggering. I mean, that's a lot. It's a lot of meat. And as a vegetarian who fell off the wagon yesterday at Taste of the Gardens, oh man, there was some good meat out there. I appreciate what you do. That's just such a cool thing. And I've been getting to know Deb a little better. She participates, even though she's not in Elkhart County, participates in the CEO roundtables, the professional development experience sponsored through the Community Foundation. And that's been really neat to get to know you. So thank you for making the drive up. There's credit to Goshen for coming up as well, but definitely coming from Auburn area. We appreciate that too. Thank you. Okay. With no further ado, we tried to find a fantastic sergeant for today to help us raise some fines. goes back to our not-for-profits. And in the absence of a fined individual, we've got Stan Cohen.
Big, you were in trouble before that. So, you know, at my table today, you know, I said to Tom Shop, I said, hey, Tom, I'm sergeant today, but I'm not going to pick on you. And except that when Eric Schultz came in, sat down and asked for, is this seat taken? And Tom said, well, I said, well, we're going to have a vote. And Tom said, well, we would vote you off the table, Stan. Okay, so you can put in $1, Tom. Tony Warning, Tony, let me explain something to you, okay? Here's what positive means, okay? Take $1 out of the thing. Here's what negative means. Put in $1. Got that? All right. Let's see. Well, you know, our illustrious president, Eric Schultz, you pointed out that Eric Schultz hadn't been to a meeting in quite a while. And Eric said, well, thank you for pointing that out. You just lost your discount. So that's another one on you. And Dave Devereaux, what's your occupation? Oh, that's interesting, you know, because I saw you in a secure uniform yesterday. So I was wondering about that. Anyway, thanks, Tom. If you were not a volunteer in any fashion yesterday, put in $1. And if you didn't go at all, put in $2. Mr. Schultz, you used all my trivia last week when you know, for Wellfield, so I don't have any material. And besides, those questions were way too easy because everybody was getting them right. You're talking while this. Well, I don't find fellow sergeants anyway, so everybody at your table can put in $1 and they can blame you for that. And last week, let's see, we had that meeting at Wellfield last week, and it was a pretty good meeting. Ashley Bowen, at that meeting that we had, the flag fell over, and you leaped out of your chair and ran up there and rescued the flag. Well, and not too many other people kind of jumped up, so no fines for you today. Also at that meeting, when we were walking in, Ann McQuistion and myself were the only people that were wearing anything with flour on it. No underwear jokes, please. And Eric, at that meeting, you started flinging cookies out at the crowd. You almost hurt some people, but that's it. Dave Dygert saved you by making a one-handed catch. He did a great job. Dave's not here. I told him to take $1 out. And by the way, as far as the phones go in here, in the last 3-4 weeks, there's been quite a few phones that have been going off during the presentation. So, you know, we had quite a number of people, Larry Knight and Jeff knew you were one of them, and Dave Dygert. Yes, you were, because I was sitting there. I know it went off. As a matter of fact, yours went off during the housing presentation. So if your phone has ever gone off during a meeting and the sergeant didn't find you, put in $1. I expect to see everybody's phones on silent mode. Now on. Mel Jacobson's not here, is he? Doesn't matter because he fell asleep during that presentation. And Ron Ringenberg, you're not here, are you? So much for that. Well, let's see. Do I have any other material? How about Eric Martin? Oh, man. You know, you cut off one of our illustrious sergeants, Pete Norton, right in the middle of his presentation. That is a no-no. You don't do that. So that's $5 right there. Yeah, I'm not done. Because during we had a guest speaker, Victoria Goodrich, from the GE girls. And when she came up to give her presentation, so she noticed that the audio for the Zoom was off. So I guess the people that were out there on Zoom must have thought silent movies came back or something. I don't know. But again, I don't have very much material, and I have to say that if you haven't maxed out, do so now.
Well, there's a lesson in record keeping there from Stan. That's some good stuff right there. Dropping dimes on people from way back. Phone ringing indiscretions. Whew, that's good stuff. And yeah, excellent. All right, we are going to try our remote presentation again today, but we're doing this old-fashioned way. So we tested this earlier, which means it probably won't work right now, but we're going to give it a try. And I am going to bring Mr. David Balkin on, and I'm going to pin David up there. David, you're welcome to come on with your screen. Very nice, very nice. And just 1 second, I'll get the mic down to you. But just really quickly, I'm going to tell us a little about Ivy Tech's new iFlex training facility opened this fall, and a little background on David. Dr. David Balkin is the chancellor of Ivy Tech Community College South Bend Elkhart campus. Immediately prior to joining Ivy Tech in 2019, he served as the managing director of the Center for Nanoscience and Technology from 2014 to 2017. That's no small feat. Yeah. Dang, thank you, Julie. Man, okay. Nano. David held a variety of engineering management and executive management positions with the microelectronics division for over 25 years and has served as the president, COO, and or chairman of the board for a variety of tech startups in California and Vermont for 3 years. David's got his BS, MS, and PhD from the University of Notre Dame. He and his wife, Dr. Martha Balkin, have 4 adult children who reside in California, Illinois, and Indiana. And we're really happy to have you with us today. I am going to move this microphone. I told you, it's a really high-tech system we got here. Check this out. Got our microphone stabilizer. And now I'm going to mute us. I think this is key. Go ahead and give us a...
Just a test. Is that working? I hope you can hear me. Also, I was wondering if you might be able to provide me with screen sharing access and I can show a few slides as we go.
Sure.
While that's happening, again, I just wanted to
got it now.
Say good afternoon. I'm Dave Balkin, Chancellor of the South Bend Elkhart campus of Ivy Tech, as was mentioned, and I want to thank you for having me join you today and for accommodating my remote connection. Between the COVID environment and having committed months ago to assist my dad with some home updates this past week, I wasn't sure about my in-person availability. For those of you out there who still have parents, I strongly encourage you to take the time to visit them as often as possible, especially considering these uncertain times. A few months ago, my dad called me and said that he wanted to get rid of the carpeting in his living room and dining room area and refinish the hardwood floors that have been hiding beneath it for the past 60 years. Being the frugal pragmatist that he is, he decided that I should be able to do all the work for him. His thinking being, if his son can get a PhD in engineering from Notre Dame, he can surely figure out how to refinish a couple of hardwood floors. Long story short, I shared with my 93-year-old father the news flash: old man's son is also an old man, and convinced him to hire a professional. He finally acquiesced to most of my requests, but did, however, insist that we work together to paint and install new shoe molding and baseboards. As it turns out, for him, working together meant having me do all the measuring, fitting, painting, and installing, and having him ultimately inspect my work with his little pen flashlight, and as he pointed out areas that I may have missed as I sat uncomfortably on the hardwood floors. Fortunately for him, I'm so old that it was easy for him to shuffle away before I was able to get to my feet and kill him. But I joke about it, but candidly, I'm terrifically thankful for the opportunity to be able to spend time with my father. Over the past 50 years, I have heard and learned from all of my father's stories. Most I know by rote. Interestingly, as we were working together this past weekend, my dad shared a few stories with me that I'd never heard before. I asked him incredulously, how is it possible that I'm hearing these for the first time? He said to me, newsflash, old man's son is an old man. You're now at the age where you just don't remember hearing my same old stories. So clearly he's pretty sharp for a 93-year-old. But I say that primarily to highlight the fact that, again, I've benefited greatly through the years from his wisdom, guidance, and mentoring. He's had an immeasurable impact on my life, and I've been lucky to have someone like him in my life. I think this is important to focus on primarily because we all strive to do good in life. And candidly, as I get older, I find myself wanting to help others much more. I'd love for my legacy to be that I simply had a great impact for good as I work to help others get to where they wanted to be in life. I think it's like that for everyone in this room. We're all having an impact for good. And I'm sure that most, if not all of you, are role models for family and friends. Unfortunately, these days, there are a lot of people in our communities, in our schools, at Ivy Tech, and in the workplace who don't and may never have had a supportive parent, a mentor, or a proper role model. Not that they don't have the ability to succeed, it's just that they haven't been given the opportunity and guidance. Many of these neighbors of ours, their lives could be significantly changed for the better by access to yours and your employees' wisdom and experience. I want to thank those of you who are already providing high school students with internships and youth apprenticeship opportunities, as well as adult apprenticeship opportunities, possibly in conjunction with the great work being done by Ivy Tech partners such as Brian Wiebe and his team at the Horizon Education Alliance, or Regina Emberton and Leighton Johnson at the South Bend Elkhart Regional Partnership. Internships and apprenticeships are great ways of giving back while helping your business establish a fantastic pipeline of loyal, trained employees. If you have any questions about how your business might be able to tap into the great growing network that's based on work-based learning initiatives in our region, I just want to invite you to reach out to either Brian Wiebe or myself. So with that, I'm going to try to bring up a quick slide here. Oops. So That technical difficulty was all mine, so I apologize to everyone in the room. Just really wanted to quickly jump into the fact that currently our annual enrollment at the South Bend Elkhart campus is 5,000 high school graduates. And this doesn't include the 6,000 plus high school students that take dual credit or dual enrollment. Each year, we average more than 2,100 completions of either certificates or degrees, and 93% of our graduates stay local. I can tell you, based on a Brookings report in 2019, we recognized the need in Elkhart County to train for the future of manufacturing, and we began working on a plan to help our region meet this need. This plan has come to fruition in the Larry and Judy Garatoni Center for Advanced Manufacturing and Automation. This is a view from the east side of the building at our Elkhart location. Before I say anything else, I have to tell you that this was an amazing labor of love that involved the contributions and the support of everybody in the Elkhart County Council, the county commissioners, the University of Notre Dame Lift. We had some just tremendous donors, Dorothy Lung, who I'm sure you're all familiar with, Larry and Judy Garatoni, just Ken Pletcher, just an amazing list of people who stepped up to the plate when we needed it and said, yeah, we've got to put in place a Center for Advanced Manufacturing and Automation. Unfortunately, we had planned to have our ribbon cutting this week on the 26th, but due to the COVID environment, we decided to postpone it indefinitely. The facility is open. It's open for classes. We've got about $1.2 million in tools installed. We have another $600,000 in tools that are on the way. And frankly, we have another $1 million that we're holding back to use as matching funds as we try to pursue an EDA grant to get even more tools. So we're just terrifically excited about the prospects of this. And again, the whole purpose of this facility is to help train people for Industry 4.0 and beyond. Obviously, for people who are in the automation space and manufacturing especially, we've got over 700 manufacturers in the region, and we're one of the largest manufacturing hubs in North America. My goal is to make us the largest advanced manufacturing hub in North America. And frankly, it's something we all need to really step up and invest in, recognizing that the labor shortages that we're going to have are going to continue. Our population, although there might be, short-term spikes, overall it's decreasing because baby boomers didn't have as many kids, and there's all sorts of reasons contributing to it. But we're also seeing fewer high school graduates, so it's critically important that we all step back and think about how we can do more with less human resource. And frankly, advanced manufacturing and automation is the answer. It can result in reduced downtime. It can improve quality and productivity. Obviously, we can make workplaces safer. And again, one of the things that we want to bring to the table with our center is software skills, data skills, network skills, and education on new devices. Sorry, I somehow jumped ahead there. One of the things that we've done over the past several months is we introduced a new curriculum, a 70 credit hour curriculum at Ivy Tech called Smart Manufacturing and Digital Integration. And the curriculum was defined in conjunction with many manufacturers across the state. And it's designed to provide a lifetime of employment and ensure economic competitiveness within the region, and ensuring that we're able to have our workers stay relevant and current with the latest technology. The Garatoni iFlex Lab, candidly, it's the newest addition to Ivy Tech's county facility. And just a little history. Again, we decided to do this in 2019. It was designed and constructed in just over a year. And frankly, it was like the fastest that we've had any building designed and constructed in the Ivy Tech system. And primarily it was driven by the needs of our region. The training that's going to be offered here is going to be obviously supporting high school students and recent graduates, local manufacturers, local people seeking advancement in advanced manufacturing or career education, and those currently employed in manufacturing who want to advance their careers. And I'll tell you, over the last 18 months, one other thing that we've done, in addition to developing the smart manufacturing and digital integration curriculum, we've grown the number of students that take non-credit courses with us from just under 400 to over 1,600. So we recognize here at Ivy Tech how critically important it is for everybody to have access to the education they need to be successful at work. And again, with our partnerships with HEA, Notre Dame, the Lift Center, we have just tremendous opportunities to really bolster local businesses' productivity and success. So I really want to encourage you to work with us if possible. This picture below is actually an Amatrol mechatronics training system. It's valued at over $700,000. And between Ivy Tech Systems Office and Notre Dame Lift, we were able to secure this piece of equipment for our new facility. It was installed just a couple of weeks ago. It's a fantastic tool that basically provides you a miniature advanced manufacturing line, fully automated. And it's got robots that work remotely. And it's really a fantastic piece of equipment that we really want to invite all of you to come and witness and ideally train on. Additionally, I want to highlight the fact that, in addition to being able to train people, what we're really excited about is partnering with people like Chris Stager and the Economic Development Corporations to help us grow our inorganic opportunities in the region. I think by having a facility like this available, it'll draw people, it'll draw companies to the region when they see that, yeah, barely, we can train people to support anything and everything they need. I'm sure all of you have seen articles in the local press about the fact that there's a potential opportunity for a $200 million business to move into the Elkhart area. Let me tell you, that type of investment is going to be area changing. It's going to be significant. And frankly, I think one of the compelling reasons we're still in the hunt, that great opportunity, is because we have facilities like this new iFlex facility at Ivy Tech, where employees can be trained on advanced manufacturing and automation. Just want to touch on a few of the pathways we offer specifically with this facility. Mechatronics, obviously, automation, robotics, industrial maintenance, computer-aided design, information technology, quality, lean, continuous improvement, logistics, supply chain. Just a lot of great programs that, again, are directly applicable to anything and everything that's going on in our local manufacturing environment. And by the way, if there's something that you want as a business that you don't think we can teach, please approach us. We'll work with you. We'll develop a curriculum. We'll come up with a way, whether it's for credit or non-credit, because we're interested in, first and foremost, in being part of this community and making sure that we're fully servicing the community. It was the vision of John Leatherman, Susie Wyrick, the Board of Commissioners, that we'd really be integrated in the community. And that's what we're hoping to do. I mentioned the smart manufacturing and digital integration degree, again, 70 credit hours. Embedded in that is also various smart automation and certification alliance credentials. In fact, there's 13 of them that you can get, which effectively allows people to get credentials as they're getting their degree. They don't have to wait until they complete the degree in 2 years. They can start pointing immediately to the fact that they've earned demonstrated credentials. So just a great opportunity here. Again, this idea of being featured career with digital manufacturing engineer. Typical salary is $38.69 per hour. Automation and systems integration engineer, $34.57. Just again, great opportunities for the future for our local population. I touched on this Smart Automation Certification Alliance. One of the other things that I just really want to emphasize as you as employees are thinking about how best to ready your workforce for the future, we offer stackable credentials. It's, you know, what we're interested in doing is helping you as you need the assistance and helping people succeed as they need the credentials, you know, as they move through their career. So for example, it's possible for you to get certain credentials that build upon each other. And again, the SMDI certificate is one such thing. You know, again, you can get 13 soccer credentials as you're working towards that degree. Wanted to make a point of, again, highlighting all of the terrific supporting partners. Levon Johnson at the Elkhart Chamber, Chris Stager, everybody at Notre Dame, Tom Fujay, Scott Ford, former provost Tom Burrish. They've been just terrifically supportive. Regina Emberton and Leighton Johnson at the South Bend Elkhart Regional Partnership. I mentioned Brian Wiebe and Barb Stitt. Fantastic teams that are terrifically focused on trying to figure out how to move us forward. You know, same with Thor Industries, Ken Julian, Boys and Girls Club. I mean, frankly, I'm almost embarrassed to list names here. There's just so many companies that have stepped up and are trying to figure out how to support us and how to help us help them. So really just want to thank everybody that's probably in the room who's had a play in this. So again, just really a high level overview. We're really excited about the contributions and the impact we hope to have moving forward. And I want to thank everyone in Elkhart County for investing in both Ivy Tech and the future students of our region. It's just critically important that we give them the opportunities that many of you may have had growing up. And again, I think the future is bright for Elkhart. As you know, the mobility industry, the RV industry is booming. Some companies have backlogs well into 2023, but you know, now is the time to invest, and especially recognizing that with the RV industry booming, in all likelihood, there's a lot of competitors worldwide who are recognizing that it's a great industry to be in, especially if, you know, there's continued threat from viruses such as COVID. So all the more reason to invest in advanced manufacturing and automation to ensure that we're competitive and we're continuing to lead the world in the markets we choose. So with that, I'll pass it back to the leadership of the Rotary. I also want to thank you very much for giving me a few minutes to chat with you.
Absolutely. Hey, thanks so much for being with us today. I think we can make this work to take questions if anyone has them in the room. I also wanted to note that Hugh Johnson, who came in late, didn't get announced as one of our guests from the South Bend Rotary Club, and connected us with David for the speaking engagement today. So thank you for that, Hugh. And I also did want to point out, David, I know you can't see the room, but we have several folks from the Elkhart Community Schools in here as well. And I see Brian Wiebe right here, fellow Rotarian on the call as well. So are there any questions from either the virtual attendees or from the room? And I'll relay that right here. Yes, Scott Puckett. Okay. The question from Scott Puckett He was speaking about the Goshen Rotary, and there were some Goshen College students there. They'd asked about some of the overlap between colleges, and the question is, have there been discussions with other colleges like Bethel or Goshen College about some of those technical aspects that might be shared or partnered or collaborations around?
Yeah, so definitely. And, you know, Bethel and Goshen, they're all part of the LIFT network. And, you know, when I talk about this asset, this great facility and all the tools in it, it's part of the LIFT network. And our interest is in making it fully utilized and giving everyone access to it. We do have articulation agreements with Goshen College, I believe with Bethel University, definitely a number of them with IU, Purdue, which basically are 2+2 programs where you can get your associate's degree at Ivy Tech and move seamlessly into you know, a related program at a 4-year state school. You know, if there are specific interests that you have, we'd be happy to work with you. Again, you know, the technical ones have been primarily with Purdue and IU. Goshen College, we've done things in psychology and sociology and more of the social sciences. But moving forward, you know, we're not averse to doing anything and everything that makes sense. You know, at the end of the day, we recognize ourselves as a critical partner to the 7 other colleges and universities in our region. And I'll tell you, I meet once a month with the leadership from them. And, you know, we all have a common goal to lift up this region. And we're all excited about collaborating. We participate together on grant proposals. We're collaborating on ready grant submissions. So, you know, I think the opportunity for continued and growing collaboration is just fantastic.
The question in the room is, in the past, Ivy Tech's graduation rates had been very low, even down around 3%. Has that improved?
So yeah, it's definitely much higher than 3%. But, you know, I will tell you that persistence or, you know, the willingness of students to stick it out to get their certificate or degree has been and will continue to be a challenge, primarily because of the unemployment situation in the region. As you know, with very low unemployment, students have been lured by, you know, sizable paychecks to leave college. And, you know, I understand, you know, many people in our region have a desperate financial need to help support their families, different things. But, you know, one thing I really think we have to step back and collectively recognize is that by industries and businesses pulling people out of high school or out of college to, you know, do a manual labor job when, you know, they could potentially be trained to do so much more is ultimately hurting the company and our region. And, you know, I'm not going to suggest to anyone that, hey, you know, let's cut people loose and send them all back to school. But by the same token, we have fantastic Achieve Your Degree programs that, you know, if you're willing, rather than maybe give, you know, $50,000 to a high school graduate to do manual labor, you give them $48,000 and have them take 1 class per session at Ivy Tech so that they can work towards a certificate or degree in an AYD program. You know, we'll work with you. We'll be terrifically creative. We'll identify taking Hoosier to the next level programs, next level jobs, funding opportunities. You know, we're really interested in helping you be as successful as possible as businesses. And I just think there's a lot of models that we can explore. We've invested heavily into a career coaching and employer connection organization that basically helps our students understand how to be successful in business. I know when I first started with Ivy Tech just less than 2 years ago, I spoke with many of you, and frankly, one of the challenges was the emotional intelligence of students and the need for them to come to work every day on time. You know, wouldn't that be novel? But what we're seeing is, the fact that we're pulling people before they've had an opportunity to really have exposure to the training and education they need. And we're here to partner with you. We want to be the community college, not just for the region, but for Indiana. And again, I really want to invite each and every one of you to give me a call. I love to meet with you, with my executive director of CCEC, Kelly Friend, or some of our industry consultants to explain to you how we can help you. I mentioned very briefly, we've grown the number of non-credit students from less than 400 18 months ago to over 1,600. So there are many people in this region who are taking advantage of the training we can do here. And, there's just so much more we can do.
Thank you for that question, that answer, David. What do you know what the graduation rate is approximately now?
So, again,
Is that a tough number to come up with?
Yeah, frankly, I don't know if I've ever looked at it, by anything other than program by program. So like nursing, which is obviously a growing program, we've increased its size by 50% in the past 18 months. We're developing strong collaborations with the local health units, but their graduation rate of associate's degrees or LPNs is around 90%. Other programs, and candidly, a lot of the CTE and technical programs, again, the reason we don't have the graduation is because we have stop outs. They're not dropping out because they're not academically capable. They're dropping out because they're enticed by a paycheck. And unfortunately, what we're seeing is we've got about 50% of our student population being non-traditional students. So these are students who, 8-10 years ago, were lured away from high school or from going to college by a great paycheck. And, I don't blame them, but now they're back recognizing that they can't do manual labor anymore. So half of our population are non-traditional students who are going nights. They're killing themselves trying to get a degree or certificate to better position themselves for, an automation programming job, for example, as opposed to a manual physical job.
Thanks, David. David, we appreciate you being on today, and I'll make sure that we've got your contact information if folks can want to reach out to you. But thank you for sharing that info with us today. And I want to thank everyone for being here, all those virtually online. And just to jump back again, thanks again for all of your support at Taste of the Gardens, whether you were there in person or had a sponsorship. I know that so many of you, and I'm excited to kind of wrap that up and give you some numbers. A lot of folks in this club really stepped up, and I really appreciate it. And I hope you get to see your banner around the garden for the next couple of months. But thank you. It was a beautiful day. Can't wait to share how we did on that. But I can tell you from those that I've spoken to, a lot of people had a great time. So with that, go out and serve to change lives. Rotary's adjourned. Thanks, David.
Thanks, Eric.